Please raise your hand if you are a parent. Keep it up if you have 2 or more children, 3 or more. As a parent, have you ever been in a situation with your children where you are in way over your head? Have you ever totally flopped? Fellow Toastmasters, Master Toastmaster, honored guests, let me share a story with you that is a resounding yes to both of those questions. First, let me set the stage. This is a picture of our house in 1995. This is the upstairs, and there are 4 bedrooms surrounding the top of the staircase. Here's our children. Nicole is 8, Jason is 6, and Jordan, the young one here, is 22 months. And the last picture there was Jordan lining up and playing with his Matchbox cars. It all started innocently enough. My wife Ellen went to our church to help my sister restock the church library. I was home alone with the 3 children, and it was a dreaded bedtime. I was reading a book to the kids when Jordan began to act up. I asked him to go downstairs to go play with his cars. This was a daily occurrence, and he could play with his cars for hours on end. After completing the first book, Jason and Nicole were begging for another. I said, Jason, please, can you go check the time, please? When he came back, I said, it's too late, it's time for bed. When Nicole went to get out of the bed to go to her bedroom, her feet had been up on the wall. She had been laying backwards on the bed with her feet up on the wall. She kicked a picture, knocking it to the floor, and it completely shattered. I then said, Jason, please go down and get the dirt devil, and Nicole, run and grab a wastebasket. Seconds later, Jason yelled, Jordan made a mess! I ran downstairs and was greeted by a glob of a sticky substance on the dining room carpet and water streaming over the kitchen floor. I asked Jason to run downstairs to grab towels from the laundry room, and I asked Nicole to try to call Mom. While I held Jordan. When Jason went downstairs a few seconds later, I heard, Dad, I can't get the towels. It's all wet down here. So Jason came up. I had Jordan. I asked Nicole to get the towels. I took Jordan and put him on the garage stoop and asked Jason to watch him while Nicole and I cleaned up. Shortly after we started cleaning up, I saw water flowing under the closet door to the back entry. I opened the closet door, I opened the garage door, and I was flinging everything that was on the floor out into the garage. Shoes, mops, brooms, so that it didn't get wet. A few minutes later, I took a load of wet towels out to hang on the back deck to dry. As I turned to head back into the house, I looked up, and there was Jason and Jordan playing in the sandbox. You guessed it. Jordan was now covered head to toe with sand and bag balm. You guys get out of there! Jason, don't you have a brain in your head? I took Jordan, brought him upstairs to the bathtub, and attempted to clean him off with soap and water. If you're still with me, we still have the broken glass in Jason's bedroom. We have water in the kitchen, the back entry, the back bathroom, downstairs. And I have a 22-month-old that is now covered in bag balm and sand. That's when I lost it. I said, Jason and Nicole, you watch Jordan and don't move. I'm going to get Mom. I ran downstairs, hopped in the car, squealed out of the driveway, broke land speed records as I drove to our church a mile away. Then I nearly ripped the locked entry doors off the hinges trying to get into church. When Ellen came, I said, you're done. I need you home now. I turned, hopped back into the car, and raced home. A few minutes later, Ellen's parents happened to stop by and helped us start cleaning up the mess. As a side note, the bag bomb had now plugged the bathtub drain. After all this, I learned that the diaper bag, which is normally put in a cupboard with a closed door, was laying on the carpet near a cabinet that Jordan passed by when he went to play with his cars. Possibly in an attempt to clean himself off the bag bomb that he had all over his body, he pulled out the wet wipes, and when he was done, tried to flush them down the toilet repeatedly. Later that night, I was feeling really guilty about what I had said to Jason. I went to his room to apologize. I said, "Jason, I'm really sorry for yelling at you. I should have never said what I did. Will you forgive me?" Jason looked up at me and he said, "Dad, if I were the dad, I would have done the same thing." Wow. There's 3 lessons I learned from this experience. Number 1, it was all Ellen's fault for leaving the diaper bag out. Number 2, there is a God when your 6-year-old can forgive you shortly after you yelled at him like that. And number 3, never leave the father home alone with the children. Thank you.